Hello everybody, this is the Vikstrand. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one of my favorite books of all time. And when I read them, this was 20 years ago, and I said to myself, this could be such an amazing movie. And I also figured they're never gonna do it. But you know, through the 2000s, the rumors kept coming that they were going to make a movie about it. And when more and more news came out, it was actually going to happen. I got really excited. And I will say this, the intentions were absolutely flawless. And I thought that the atmosphere and the tone of this movie is absolutely correct. And as we will see, the casting was almost perfect. But this movie was a kind of tweaks away from absolute perfection and being a modern classic. But I will say that this is a good attempt at converting the books into a movie. Let's take a look at why, shall we? This is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Arthur Dent's house is going to be demolished. He's a normal man played by Martin Freeman living in England. But while he is arguing with the construction workers over the demolishing of his house, Ford Prefect shows up and tells him that we have bigger fishes to fry because the Vogons are going to destroy the Earth in 10 minutes and we have to get out of here. So while the Vogons, a race from outer space, destroys the Earth to build an interdimensional or intergalactical bypass or whatever it was, I never figured out the logistics for this one. Was it going to be a road, going through space, or was it going to be something else? Can't it just fly over, under, or in between, Earth? I never figured that one out. 20 years after reading the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, this is still a mystery to me. Anyway, doesn't matter, because Ford and Arthur are the only survivors of the now demolished Earth, because they hitchhiked with the Vogons, and now Arthur Dent is on a zany adventure into space alongside with a manic-depressive robot voiced by Alan Rickman, and another survivor from Earth, Trillian, played by Zooey Deschanel, and of course the president of the universe, Seyfried Beeblebrox, played by Sam Rockwell. They are on the stolen ship Heart of Gold because Seyfried is out to find the answers of the universe, the meaning of life and everything. So that's the movie in a nutshell. It's kind of a road trip in space with a bunch of zany stuff happening. Also important, Trillian doesn't know that the Earth has been destroyed and that her kind of boyfriend Seyfried Beeblebrox has destroyed it out of pure dumbness. But let's for a second talk about casting, because casting your movie correctly can mean the world to your movie. A great casted movie can earn up to, 20-30 points for the correct casting. A terrible casting can lower a movie 30-40 points. This movie has 4 all-time great casting decisions. Arthur Dent. Martin Freeman is Arthur Dent. This is exactly how I pictured Arthur Dent. He is absolutely perfect. The most run-of-the-mill guy you could ever find. That's Martin Freeman. Kind of cruel when you're thinking about it for a second. When they announced that Zooey Deschanel was going to play Trillian, I said, another perfect casting decision. What could possibly be better than that? Well, that would be Marvin, played by Alan Rickman. I thought nobody else should play Marvin than Alan Rickman. I mean, what could they possibly do that could be better? The answer is Sam Rockwell as Seyfried Beeblebrox. They took the two-headed lunatic president of the universe and made him even better. Sam Rockwell has a weird way of elevating every movie he's in, and every performance he gives is, somehow better than you would expect it to be. And his weird combination of Bill Clinton, Jesus and Axl Rose is something to behold. I love his entire shtick. He is absolutely fantastic. The only thing that doesn't really work in this movie is actually Mos Def as Ford Prefect. I always thought he was a little bit too dry, and this was never how I pictured Ford Prefect. But I'd rather take, these 4 fantastic ones and 1 sort of dud rather than, 5 okay casting decisions. Douglas Adams has said that the radio show, the TV show, the book and the movie is different aspects of the same story. There is no definitive version. And everything is a little bit different, but they all, strive to the same conclusion. With that said, I have no experience with the radio show and I have no experience with the TV show. So my only point of reference is the book. And in this movie, the best parts of this movie is where they skew the closest to the book. The thing they invent, the side plot with Hama Kavula and the very unnecessary sort of love story between Trillian and Arthur, I thought could have been left on the cutting room floor. It doesn't add anything, it just detracts from the finished products. And was one of the reasons why this movie on occasion gets a little doomy and gloomy and grinds to an absolute halt. I don't want sad moments in my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I want hijinks and I want Seyfried Beeblebrock's brain to run on lemons. Those sequences are absolutely fantastic, by the way, when they are, gonna try to liberate Trillian, when she's being held hostage by the Vogons. That was absolutely magnificent. The movie is very entertaining and filled with silly hijinks and lots of funny visuals. I love the combination of practical effects, actual sets, and special effects that actually has aged fairly well. And the style of this movie is exactly what this movie should have been. And I love the kind, friendly atmosphere this movie is bathed in. And to top it all off, I absolutely adore the small little, almost Monty Python-esque animation sequences narrated wonderfully by Stephen Fry. Those sequences were absolutely great. So, what is lacking from this movie? Well, as I said, the side plots that they throw in with Hama Kavula played by John Malkovich. By the way, they are funny but completely unnecessary, and a couple of the detours they do, they don't really work that well, and it also makes this movie flow a little bit less fluent than they could have done. They could have just done a more accurate representation of what the book is. I was also a bit confused by the Vogons' role in this thing. Are they going to kill the president? Or are they going to capture him? Or are they going to liberate him? They try to do everything at the same time, I always thought. But large sections of this movie was exactly what I wanted from an adaptation of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There are moments where you think, oh, if they just could have, pulled this thing from the book, then this movie would have been even better. If they just could have pulled this thing from the book, this movie would have been even better. There's a couple of, occasions where this happens, but that doesn't stop this movie from having great visuals, lots of funny gags, lots of really entertaining jokes, lots of colorful characters, lots of great performances. The movie has pretty okay pacing, and the movie has a couple of sequences that were so funny that I straight up belly laughed when I saw it the first time in the cinema, to the point where I actually had pain in my stomach afterwards. It's very rare, but it do happen. If you've read the book and are curious of this adaptation, I would say you're in safe hands. It is a good adaptation, but not a great one. If you've never heard of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I would advise you to read the 5 books and then come back and see this movie. You will feel that it is an okay adaptation and you will feel right at home, but you'll probably prefer the books, I would guess. If you are the type of person who doesn't like science fiction, this is not a classical science fiction movie. It's more of a sketch comedy show disguised as a movie that just happens to take place in outer space. And if you like these sort of zany comedies that are sort of out there, I really recommend it, but it is not the greatest sci-fi comedy that's ever been made. That is, of course, Galaxy Quest. This movie is filled with small little Easter eggs and references I really love, and the type of dry British humor that is my jam. If you like that type of thing, I think you're gonna find this movie to be really, really enjoyable because it is really funny and it's really entertaining. I'm giving this movie 71 points. The parts they've added doesn't work as well as the things straight from the book, but it's not all bad. If you like TV shows like Red Dwarf and Monty Python, this is a great movie to see, and it is surprisingly funny and, as I said, almost perfectly casted. So we'll see you next time from, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.